It was a peaceful afternoon at Riverside Park, the kind of day where the sun is just warm enough to make you feel comfortable, and the breeze feels like a gentle touch. But for one elderly man, what seemed like an ordinary day would quickly spiral into a terrifying ordeal. Meet Mr. Samuel Harris, a 72-year-old retiree who spent most of his days in the park, enjoying his daily walk. With a small cane in hand and a calm demeanor, he blended in perfectly with the other park goers. Little did anyone know, Samuel wasn't just any old man. He had a story to tell, one that was about to unfold in the most unexpected of ways. As he walked along the path, taking in the fresh air, 3 young men approached him. Their presence alone sent a chill down the spine of anyone nearby. They were loud, intimidating, and clearly up to no good. As they closed in on Mr. Harris, they began to make crude comments, mocking him for his age and his slow pace. They laughed at his cane, making cruel jokes about how it was the only thing keeping him from falling. Samuel didn't flinch. His face remained calm, but deep inside, he was calculating, silently observing every move they made. These weren't just any troublemakers. No, these were the kind of men who thought they could get away with anything. But they didn't know who they were messing with. You see, Samuel Harris wasn't just a frail old man. He was a father, a former soldier, and his son? His son was General Michael Harris, one of the most decorated military officers in the country. And while Samuel kept a quiet, humble life, his son's name carried weight, respect, and power. The 3 thugs, unaware of the family connection, continued to taunt and push him around. One of them shoved Samuel in the back, causing him to stumble slightly. But just as they were about to take things further, something happened that they didn't expect. Suddenly, Samuel's phone rang. It was an unassuming call, but when he answered, his voice changed. It was the kind of calm authority that you hear only in someone who's been through the toughest situations. The thug who had been leading the group, trying to make a mockery of Samuel, paused when he saw the old man's eyes shift. His gaze turned from one of the elderly, defenseless man they thought they could push around into someone who had seen much worse. "Yes, sir," Samuel said into the phone, his voice as steady as ever. "I understand. I'll be there soon." Then, he hung up. The group was confused. Who could be calling this man? What was going on? The leader of the thugs sneered, still thinking the old man was a pushover. "You really gonna just let that call go? Where's your respect for the younger generation?" he mocked. But Samuel didn't respond. Instead, he slowly began to walk away, his movements deliberate. The young men, still thinking this was a game, followed him, whispering insults behind his back. "Come on, old man, you better not be walking away from us," one of them shouted. But Samuel didn't answer. He simply kept walking. The tension was thick in the air as they trailed behind, unaware that in just a few moments, they would regret this confrontation. Samuel didn't need to raise his voice, but just as he reached the park gates, something unexpected happened. A sleek black SUV pulled up beside him. The door opened, and out stepped a tall, powerful figure, someone who commanded attention the moment he entered the scene. It was General Michael Harris, the son of the man they had been harassing. The thugs froze. Their sneers faltered. This wasn't just a man. They now realized they were standing face to face with one of the most respected military leaders in the country. General Harris looked at them with a mix of disappointment and quiet anger. Without saying a word, he stepped forward and pulled his father to his side. "Dad, are you okay?" he asked, his voice soft but filled with the kind of authority that only someone in his position could possess. The leader of the group, now visibly shaken, took a step back. I didn't know." His words trailed off, unable to explain how they had so misjudged the situation. They hadn't realized who Samuel was. They hadn't known that this seemingly frail old man was the father of someone who could have them arrested in an instant, someone who had the power to make their lives a living nightmare. But General Harris didn't make them feel the full weight of his influence. Instead, he gave them a choice. "You can walk away now," he said, his voice calm yet unmistakably authoritative. Or you can face the consequences of your actions. You've already embarrassed yourselves enough. The thugs didn't need any more convincing. They turned and ran without a second thought, disappearing into the distance, too scared to look back. As the SUV drove away, Samuel looked at his son, a proud smile tugging at his lips. "You didn't have to do that, Michael," he said softly. "I can handle myself." But Michael smiled back, placing a reassuring hand on his father's shoulder. "I know, Dad. But I couldn't just let them disrespect you." As they drove off into the sunset, it wasn't just the thugs who learned a lesson that day. We all witnessed something powerful: the importance of respect, of not judging others based on appearances, and of the hidden strength that can be found in even the most unexpected places. It's a reminder that you never know who you're dealing with, and that kindness and humility can be far more powerful than you might ever realize. So the next time you see someone who seems like an easy target, remember this story. You might just be looking at someone who has a history, a legacy, and connections that could change everything in the blink of an eye. And who knows? They might just surprise you.